Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
As John stated that, yes, I was in Toastmasters at one time, and I felt that I need to start all over again because I think I ended up maybe my second or third speech, so I really wanted to start from the beginning and move forward again. So I'm going to tell you a little story, and I'm not going to tell my whole icebreaker story from the beginning of when I did this a couple years ago, but I'm just going to give you a brief really quick. So a lot of us have gone through pain in our life. We have either lost a loved one, we've been hit financially, rock bottom, so forth, lost a job that you loved at one time, and that was me at one time. So I grew up in Hutchinson, Kansas, lost my father when I was 4 years old. Unfortunately, he committed suicide when I was 4. I had no idea what it was like to have my father out there on the football field when I was in karate, telling me out there in the stands. Mother wasn't really around, although I do have a great relationship with my mother now, but she wasn't really around. So I was raised by my grandparents. So my grandparents raised in, now part of me is half Hispanic, the other part of me is Russian and German. So go figure that one, right? Don't make me mad. No, just kidding. So I grew up on my father's side, which is my grandmother's, or my father's side, or the Hispanic side. So grew up, and everybody, you know, there's always a bad side of the town, right? There's always the opposite side of the tracks there. And unfortunately, a lot of my friends that I went to school with, they ended up in prison and not dropping out of high school. Well, I saw myself going that route at one time. See myself going that route. Never been in jail, but I was going that route when I was about a junior in high school. And then I started surrounding myself around good, positive people, mentors, and so forth. I've always been into sports, so you know, athleticism has always been big for me. And then when I got 18 years old, now I barely got through high school. I think they gave me my diploma just to get me out of there. That's how bad I was. So I did. And then 2 weeks after I graduated from high school, I packed up and moved to Southern California. Went to California, and my goal was to be an actor. And I started, you know, going out to all these dance clubs and hanging out in LA and all that. And unfortunately, got into hanging out with the wrong crowd of people, smoking a lot of pot, doing a little other stuff. And then realized, I looked at myself in the mirror one day and realized, wow, this is not me. I didn't do anything different than where I came from. I just took it with me. I'm just hanging out with the same people. So right then I realized I need to cut these people off. And I remember I didn't really have a lot of mentors in my life to really teach me that education was a huge thing. So I did. So I cut those so-called friends off and went and enrolled in college. So I was the first in my family to have a college degree out of grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, and everybody else. So got my degree, became president of a student chapter. My degree was in hotel and restaurant management. Went to one of the top 4 schools in the nation, which is Cal Poly, and I went into the private clubs. So I was running yacht clubs and country clubs. Then I went to Denver and got running a country club there. And then we had our first child, my wife and I had our first child, and then my wife called me up maybe 6 months later after our child was born, says, I can't do this anymore. Do what? She goes, I can't support you on your career anymore. But you could probably relate with me on some of this stuff here. Can't support you with your career anymore. You're gone all day. So it was either my family or my career. So I did the right thing and chose my family. I ended up getting into sales. The sales I got into was a company called Rewards Network. At the time it was called iDine Restaurant Group. And what we did was finance and advertise restaurants. So I started with them in Denver and became very successful. I was scared though, because I was used to just a salary coming in, you know, security. I was used to that. Being in sales scared me, but everybody told me that I could do well in sales. So I did. Had a salary plus commission, and then they had me open up different territories around the country, and then they asked me if I would move to New Mexico. I moved to New Mexico and became a top sales rep there, and then I opened up the Canadian market with that company and flying back and forth. And then I came back here to Kansas City. Originally, I am from Hutchinson, Kansas, so I came here to Kansas City and started working this territory back in 2006. My wife and I and our 2 children, and then in 2011, they went from public to private and let go of all of us 10-year people. I was the regional sales manager. And so when I talked about losing a loved one, losing a job, and hit rock bottom, yes, that was me. I hit rock bottom. Hit rock bottom, had no idea what I was going to do. 2012, I came in here in Toastmasters, I believe, 2012, 2013. But I was lying to a lot of people. I looked motivated. I looked like everything was great, but inside I was dying. I was dying inside of me. didn't know what was going on. And so I started going from one job after another. And I went from Open Table to a company called Breadcrumb. And my last one was literally, I got a job at Ricoh. You guys are familiar with Ricoh, photocopying machines like that. I knew nothing about that stuff, but I needed a job because back in 2012, I went and got my real estate license, but it's still, I was living my life in scarcity. Living my life in scarcity because I was like, I need another job to get my real estate business moving. I don't want to work for anybody, but I'm scared. I'm scared to like, oh, I need health insurance for the family. I need all this. But I wasn't making the money I needed to make. So I remember they let me go from there, but it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I remember I stood up and the manager was on the other side of the table and I said, thank you. He says, thank me. I've never had anybody thank me for getting fired. I said, no, thank you, because I know what I need to do with my life now. So right then I'm driving home. My wife says, you went home for lunch? I go, nope, I just got fired. And she goes, what are we gonna do? And I go, I can't do this anymore. I can't keep working 2 jobs. It's either I give 150% towards real estate, or I let go of my real estate license and I go back into the corporate world, but I do something that I know, which is hospitality. She goes, what do you want to do? I go, I don't want to work for anybody. I want to work for myself. And I need you to believe in me. She goes, I've always believed in you. You need to believe in yourself. So that was a huge blow, right? So what did I do? I took a step backwards in order to move forward again. I went to Price Chopper, knew the manager at Price Chopper, and I went back there and I got a job stocking boxes in the middle of the night to take care of my family. And my real estate business went to like this. So last year in 2015, I hit 28 transactions and $7 million in sales. This year I'm on track for 15 million and about 50 in transactions right now. So my life is, and how do I do that, you guys? There's a thing I call pray, focus, visualize, believe. Every day I say affirmations. I have not watched the media since January of 2014. I have no idea what's going on in this world. So if you guys ask me what's going on, I have no idea. I stay away from all negative people, all negative media, and I stay positive, and I do affirmations every day. So to end this, my affirmation that I do daily, which my 6-year-old, my 12-year-old, and my 15-year-old says every day with me, there is no chance, no destiny, no fate that can circumvent, hinder, or control the firm resolve of my determined soul. Thank you.